I consider my son's birth a miracle. Background: my husband is an unbeliever, and we were separated for a few months after my daughter was born. During the process of reconciling our marriage, I came to Christ after considering myself agnostic for several years. While we had worked the major issues out there were still areas that were prone to conflict. One of them was family size. In church one day, the sermon was on Isaac and Rebekah, and how God opened her womb and planned to use their children mightily. I remember praying that God would give us children that would glorify Him, and that He gave me patience to wait until God placed the desire for more children in my husband's heart. I had been using an IUD as birth control, which is supposed to be 99.9% effective for about 10 years. A month later, I was listening to a sermon podcast about birth control, which talked about how IUDs prevent implantation on fertilized eggs. I felt convicted that I was in grave sin, but I was horribly afraid of how to tell my husband that I wanted to get it removed and why. I prayed for strength, but was ultimately too cowardly to act. God is amazingly gracious. Almost a year later, I found myself slipping away from God. Not from unbelief, but from conflict in my marriage, over how big a priority God should be in my life. So one day, I started to get all these weird symptoms that I only ever had when I was pregnant. It was such a remote chance, but I took a pregnancy test anyway because I just felt so weird. It was positive. My husband took the news really well, even though he had previously been saying he didn't think he wanted more. But now we were really afraid that the IUD was going to cause us to cause a late-term miscarriage. That thought really crystallized that any other pregnancies that may have started were equally as valuable as this one. I now knew about it. When I got the ultrasound done, there was no sign of the IUD, even though I had never seen or felt it pass it out of my body. My son, Matthew, gift of God, is 3 months old now. I am amazed by the grace of God, who gives such great gifts in spite of our weakness.